Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's Mystic Minute is an update on time and space. I have been sharing some insights I've had about time and space, and here it is. Okay, so our physical bodies are constructed to be linear vehicles, and they go from the past to the future, and all our interpretation of reality is based on traveling along a linear path. And we think of the past as being back there and the future as being up there. I've also noticed over time that the past to me seems to be a lower vibration and the future seems to be a higher vibration. So we don't connect as well to the future because it's out there, it's too diffuse to us in our experience. And when we connect to the past, it feels very heavy, it feels very solid, it feels very immovable. You can't change the past. If you're stuck in the past, you feel really, sad, depressed, regretful, resentful. It's immovable. And on the other hand, the future is diffuse. It can feel kind of anxiety producing. It can be kind of fearful to the body because your body isn't going to make it out of this lifetime alive. So if you go too far out in the future, it's going to die. You can only see as far as the headlights. And then another analogy I'd been using is that it's not really going along those levels. It's more like lasagna, and we can feel the past bubbling up. And it doesn't mean the past is less conscious than now, because consciousness exists outside of time and space. So there's been consciousness, instant in conception. And physical bodies from the past aren't less conscious than now. We see examples of pure consciousness coming through form in the writings from the ancient Greek, in the inventions from the Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci, ancient Chinese philosophers. The consciousness has been communicating, is experiencing, has been embodying in form ever since the Big Bang. And the insight that I got most recently about this is it's all happening simultaneously to consciousness, and that's not a recent insight. I've been talking about that, but I hadn't fully comprehended how it's all happening simultaneously to consciousness. And how I've been perceiving it recently is I have been noticing more extremely how the past and the future coexist with the now. Now, I talk to dead people and I perceive people who passed and when they passed recently and what those different experiences were like. And my initial impression was how, we're operating on a specific timeline and theirs is different. And so there are just certain points on the timeline where there's a connection, and those are where the veils are thinner and you can communicate. But the thing I also noticed is that it doesn't line up with our sense of time. So someone might have died recently and you're connecting with them as if they've been gone for a really long time, or as if they hadn't passed at all. I mean, that was a confusing thing I noticed with my mother, and I thought it was just because I was going through all her photographs, but there she was from college, there she was, and 2-3 years later it was like she passed through my space as a grouchy Alzheimer's lady, which is how she was to me personally. She was lovely to lots of other people, but she was kind of pissed off with me because I would make her get up in the morning. However, I have been also noticing more acutely now, but also noticing my past and my future selves showing up in the now. And I think we've personified them as, that's my those are my inner kids. It's like, our inner personas, our inner kids coexist still in the now. You've still got your inner 5-year-old or your inner 10-year-old, and get them back in the back seat where they belong, because it's you as the adult that need to be driving the bus. But I've been feeling my future self wafting in. And this is a different experience. Now, something I used to do 10 plus years ago was, going through difficult times, I would reach out to my future self and ask for insight. Like, okay, how did it unfold? You know, how did I get through this? And the thing I noticed once I got into my 50s, I started noticing, wait a minute, I'm feeling that communication from my past self. And it would be these weird sense of deja vu where I actually remembered and remembered getting the impression from my now self saying, you know, it's going to be all right. Can't really explain, because, you know, where I was then is so completely different where I am now. I'm getting these moments of deja vu going, I had no idea I was going to be in this time and place. And so it not making any sense to me when I had those flashes of insight before. Why am I living in a house with brick? You know, that kind of thing. So I don't exactly know what it means, feeling my future self. I'm not receptive necessarily enough to the information now. I'm just going, oh God, I'm feeling like I'm, you know, 10 or 15 years older than I am now. And that's not how I expect to feel. Now, I could have somebody older in my space. That's another possibility. But the insight of it all happening simultaneously has gone from just an intellectual concept. Consciousness exists outside of time and space. This reality happens in the blink of an eye to consciousness. Therefore, all lifetimes, all possibilities are being experienced by consciousness in the now. And as we go through this ever-increasing consciousness shift, we're able to have that perception in the now. Confusing as hell to a linear body, but is happening in the now, and noticing that it's all happening simultaneously. A way to think of it is how in your physical reality there is a multitude of things going on simultaneously. You cannot see the oxygen around you that you are breathing or what you're exhaling, and yet the molecules are being transformed as you're doing that. So there's a whole unseen aspect of that. Look at the solidity around you, there, you know, the cells of your body, and the what seems to be solid in the seat that you're sitting on. It's all really, there's a lot of space in between it, lots and lots of space in between it. And all of those things are happening simultaneously. There's a perception of light and the perception of vibration. It's all happening at once. And you can know this on a scientific, you know, biological, consciousness, psychological level, mind, body, spirit level. You can be aware of all of this and just notice how you're perceiving it now. We're perceiving it more now. And it's useful information. It's useful information for navigating here and now. And here's one other thing, is all possibilities are happening at once, so we're not actually traveling along a linear path. And just because I'm feeling one aspect of my future self coming into form doesn't mean that that's the only way to travel, because there's infinite possibilities, and even at a higher level of consciousness, it gets shaped into form. I'll be talking about that more in future videos, because that's still kind of coming into my consciousness. So play with this, see how it works for you. And if you like these videos, you can subscribe to them on YouTube. You can also sign up below to get them in your inbox. And if you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. I put out a weekly radio show and podcast. I also put out a weekly blog and newsletter. I do meetups around the Puget Sound. I do a monthly webinar. And I coach people from all around the world through Skype and Zoom. And if you want to know more about how to navigate your life with ease and grace using higher consciousness techniques, go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and look at my coaching programs. So go to joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you in another couple days with another Mystic Minute.